Apply today at schwizow.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see partly sunny skies with light winds, a high around 80. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and calm winds, below around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds, an afternoon high near 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Bock in the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley. Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror. Number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Welcome to Bock in the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. It is game day here in Lincoln, Nebraska, or may I say Kansas City. The highways are packed. Everybody's getting excited about the game. Bock got his jersey on with a little pair of baby shoulder pads to go with him. What's up, Bock? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Like I've been saying, this is basically my Christmas. It's all of our Christmas, right, as Husker football fans. As we have awaited this day, we've talked much about everything, what it's going to look like, Nebraska, the offseason, the Kool-Aid. We've taken it all in. Now it's time where the rubber meets the road for many of us, literally, as we make our way to Kansas City in just a special game, special situation to play, to take over, make our own Red Kingdom there in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. Very, very cool stuff. And hopefully the Huskers can pull through with the win, and we'll all be just as enthusiastic tomorrow as we are today for the big game day.
All right, Bock, I want to play something for everybody. Should I wait till everybody come in a little bit later, Bock, or should I give it to them after we go to break?
Yeah, we can let people settle in a little bit here if you want.
We'll settle in. Hey, Bock, I got Nebraska injury report.
Okay,
a couple of players out, couple of players that are questionable. Gibson Powell is out. Bly Hill is out. Gage Stinger is out. Mac Markway is out. Jeremiah Jones, receiver, is questionable. Vincent Shavers Jr. is questionable. Demetrius Bell is questionable, and Jamarion Parker is questionable. Game time weather, Bock, 59 degrees. Great weather right there.
Yeah.
If you say a little cool to be in August here in the Midwest, could be some rain a little bit early today in Kansas City. Could affect the field. We don't know yet. I think their ground crew is probably going to do a great job with it, Bock. YouTube and Fox, Bock, they came to an agreement, short term.
Oh, big news for me. I had YouTube.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about the game tonight. I went and got the 2-day, what they call it, the 2-day,
a trial run.
Yeah. And I'll probably just order the rest of it Saturday. So, or I might just use my other email box that I got to then get another 2.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
I can end up with 4 days. So I can end up with, even though it's 5 days of football, that's coming up the next 5 days, I can get 4 free days of football, Bock, then cancel it Saturday night, so it won't take it out of my account.
So then maybe Monday you're gonna have to figure out a different route.
Yeah,
or just buy into it.
I am the Connor Stallion of cable TV, and I'm gonna be I'm the Connor Stallion of players. I spy on players.
That's right.
I go to Cincinnati's quarterback page, look at his TikTok, see what he does. I go over there and look at Don Culleon's thing, and we're going to talk about this Culleon guy, because watching some of his tape, Bock, you're better put 2 hands on this guy tonight. I'm not talking about both for one player with 2 hands. I'm talking about 2 players with 2 hands. So this guy right here is going to demand something. Early in the week, Bock, a Cincinnati player was involved in an accident on campus, was hit on a scooter. Stable condition, was released earlier yesterday. So, that's out the way. What else you got?
Yeah, it's always important to kind of keep an eye on the opponents, but it's an exciting day. I mean, we got a lot of breakdown as we're kind of looking into it, as maybe we break
one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I wanted to tell you, Cincinnati will be rocking the all red uniform.
Important note.
They will be rocking all red,
including the helmet.
So Nebraska has to wear white, scarlet and white, not just your red jerseys, because then it looks like you're going for Cincinnati.
Well, that is what's interesting. Are they going to wear the white pants to kind of further differentiate themselves, or is there going to be just a lot of red? Of course, it is in Kansas City. We're used to a lot of red there. Maybe that's part of the celebration. I think Cincinnati has figured out, hey, there's going to be a lot of red in the stands. Maybe we can kind of make it appear as though they're cheering for us.
Did you think they did that on purpose?
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea, too. If I'm Cincinnati, I'd do the same thing. They know the sea of red is coming. Make it look like the sea of red is on your behalf. But, I mean, as we know, the cheering is going to go a little bit different there. Again, listening to early break is kind of funny. They had a Cincinnati guy on, and he's very involved, with the media in there. Of course, Cincinnati, a pro sports town, if you will. There's a lot of other options. And he said he hasn't ran into anybody that's going to the game from Cincinnati, whether that be media or just kind of people outside. It's 8 hours away. Of course, this game was supposed to be in Indianapolis, which would have been closer for them. It is still technically a Cincinnati home game, but Nebraska's clearly going to have the edge. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to point that out. I think that's a great idea if you're Cincinnati. I don't think it's going to affect too much, right? If you're Nebraska, it's not something I'm sitting back and thinking I'm a little bit worried about. But if you kind of get the feel, you look around the stadium, they're all wearing the same color you are. Maybe you can kind of convince yourself in your mind that, this is a home game. It's not. It's going to be a crazy packed Nebraska game. And then the other thing from that early break segment too, they talked with Sean Callahan the other day. He believes it's going to be even louder than Memorial Stadium is, because the folks that generally are going to be traveling, drinking in the parking lot before they kind of get out there, it's probably going to be a younger crowd. It's not going to be so much Memorial Stadium, where a lot of those seats are kind of grandfathered in and a lot of older folks there. So it not only is it expected to be a pro Nebraska crowd, it might be one of the loudest Nebraska's crowd that we've had in quite some time. So at least for Cincinnati to trick themselves a little bit into thinking that red's out there for them, I think is a wise decision for the Bearcats.
Well, at least they'll get a lot of money. That's what they expect. The thing about Cincinnati is that, you look at a team who was in the college playoffs a couple of years ago. Who was Luke Fickell? Yeah, Luke Fickell had them in there.
Yeah,
I think they played Georgia and got smashed though. But the thing is, Bock, they lost the crowd when they changed. They lost all these coaches. Have to try to win them back. 5-7 last year after the start of the season. 5-1. You have high hopes. We seen that happen to us a couple of years ago when we was 5-3 and ended up 5-7. So they was 5-1, ended up 5-7. Same identical record with us in conference play, 3-6. Both of us was 3-6 in conference play. Nebraska has a big edge. You got the crowd, first of all. You got that. Even though it's an away game for you, you got the crowd. I think you got the momentum by being so close to Nebraska that, we're a big and to say this, it's gonna be like a big family reunion out there with all the people from Nebraska and who knows everybody. The Kansas City people that used to live in Nebraska now lives in Kansas City. They'll have a big crowd. They'll bring friends with them. So, it's a nice home game for Nebraska. I knew the guys took the bus yesterday. Good thinking right there. I think, just the, it's business as usual, but taking the bus makes it feel like a little JUCO-ish, but, it's only a 2.5 hour ride. So they're not riding like 9-10 hours like we used to ride and stop and they just slang Wendy hamburgers at you and tell you to get back on the bus. But, little 2.5 hour ride, Bock, doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, that's not going to be bad. And of course, they did make it there for a lot of discussion. I mean, it was just fun. I mean, it's fun to go out there and play at a neutral site game just to kind of take in the different elements that are part of it. And last night, that was a big part of your Husker fan on Twitter. Was kind of at first they kind of did the Cincinnati end zone, and then the Nebraska end zone was like half done, and people got pictures of it. And it was like, is that what the Nebraska end zone is gonna look like? But then they cleaned it up, so the field looks nice. Then I'm sure many people have seen Nebraska was welcomed in by Andy Reid, head coach, of course, historic head coach. Recently with the Kansas City run here over the last several years, maybe one of the best coaches, top 5 NFL coaches of all time. It's kind of in that discussion. So it was incredible for the team to meet him. We saw, he's kind of, shaking hands with players as they walked in. Matt Rule had some discussions with him. It's never going to be bad to kind of get any information you can off of Andy Reid. So it's just kind of cool, again, to be there in Kansas City. We know Dylan Raiola specifically has some relationships there with Patrick Mahomes and others, having been in the Kansas City locker room before for some of their playoff games this past season. So maybe a little bit of comfortability there. But for a lot of guys, too, you got to remember, you get to play at an NFL stadium. And there's going to be, like we always say, 5-10% guys maybe out there, and that's probably more. 5% of the guys out there might get a chance at the NFL, but for a lot of guys to play at an NFL stadium is going to be, maybe one of the coolest opportunities that they're going to get. Again, all of this and all the fun that kind of goes into it, much better and much easier to stomach with a victory for Nebraska tonight. And I think the matchup speaks well for Nebraska. You kind of broke down Cincinnati. I've been kind of talking all offseason and going into this game kind of thinking, hey, don't overlook the Bearcats. Yes, they struggled down the stretch. They did beat a playoff team in Arizona State last year. Important to note, Jeff Sims, who Nebraska fans are pretty familiar with and not necessarily a good way, did start that game for the Sun Devils. So it wasn't the fully loaded playoff team that we saw in Arizona State. But, furthering that point is that stretch that you mentioned where they kind of they struggled. They couldn't get that last bowl win. They lost their last wins, to get to a bowl game. They lost their last 5 games. Nothing, didn't look pretty on offense, didn't look pretty on defense. So they're looking to kind of to flip the script. Of course, like everybody, they feel like they've done pretty good in the offseason. They brought in a lot of transfer portal guys, especially on that offensive line in the wide receiver room, some players out there and special teams. So there's just a lot to kind of break down, but Nebraska should have the matchup edge. But again, you kind of go back to how many games over this last several years, and even including Matt Rule, again, like a UCLA game last year, where Nebraska had the edge or looked like they should be the better team on paper, and then it doesn't quite equate that once you get to the football field. I expect a close game throughout most of it. Hopefully Nebraska can pull away toward the end, which we'd all love if that was kind of the new normal around here for Husker football.
Yeah, we've seen this before, Bock. We seen where we've been favored for games. We've seen where we go in and we destroy ourselves. we seen this with Jeff Sims. Not to throw Jeff Sims, but the first game of the season in Minnesota, also the second game with Colorado. This offense has to be a ready to go set machine offense right here. I think it's going to start with Emmett Johnson and a couple of more guys, and we'll discuss that part of it later. But Nebraska has to just start the game and finish the game. I think this team has been through a lot. I think they're finding out that it's Matt Rule way of the highway, but and not saying that in a bad way, but Matt Rule hasn't lost a lot of guys to transfer portal. He hasn't. A lot of guys haven't left the team. I know Hartley Gilmore didn't work out. Was a transfer, went right back to Kentucky. Sometimes players come into a different atmosphere where they come from a different culture of a locker room, and I think Matt Rule has his locker room set the way that he has it to keep all the guys that he's been able to keep. You know, this is not a university where, you know, somebody getting kicked off the team, not like it was in the last couple of years or years ago before that. But, you know, I think it's time for Matt Rule has done the coaching. Now it's time for the players to do the playing. And they have to come out and show us how grown up of a team they are. They got to show how mature they are. And when they get in a bad situation, what can they do? I mean, the coaches have done so much over the last couple of years. You upgraded the roster. You upgraded the kicking game. You brought in better coaches. Now it's time for the players to go out there and prove their wealth or their worthy to the university, because now people are going to talk about, well, shoot, you spent $18 million on this roster. You know, it's just certain things. You give people a lot of ammo to shoot back at you when you do things on TikTok and other platforms that we have no business being on until we started winning on the field. Now, this game tonight, it starts tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, I think it's been a good thing kind of offseason, trying to win the offseason, as we always say here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and really kind of expand that nationally. And I think Matt Rule has done a great job of that. But all that, like you said, can kind of be thrown back at you if the results on the field don't match. Of course, there's the same thing kind of with Dylan Raiola, where if he takes that step, you know, and becomes one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, like we expect him to, then all that, you're just, you know, cosplay Mahomes, all that stuff kind of dies down. If he struggles, well, then it's easy to kind of throw that back at him. So Nebraska, it's interesting, has provided ammunition if they don't succeed. And that's just part of it. I mean, they're kind of going all in on this year 3. The culture is better, all that sort of stuff. Kind of feels like everything's aligning. Matt Rule has talked about how he liked the physicality of this team. You know, I think a lot of people love the coordinator hires they brought in. So there's a lot of reasons to believe that Nebraska is heading in the right direction. That's why there's been this belief in the offseason. But again, we've been there before. Unfortunately, it hasn't turned out so well. But I couldn't go back to, again, this is where we see if the Matt Rule hire was pretty much a good hire. Now, I'm not going to say if he if they win 7 or 8, you know, to be upset and move on and do something differently, or, you know, even less than that. If they underwhelm a little bit, I wouldn't overreact too much. But I've always stated year 3, 2025 is why Nebraska hired him, because on his resume, that's what it said. Year 3 at Temple, year 3 at Baylor. That's where the program takes off. You hired a program builder. And this is where it is. So Nebraska, it starts tonight. And like you said, all that year 3 stuff, all that offseason stuff, it's nice. It's got some headlines. It's got some attention for Nebraska. But now it's on the players. That year 3 jump's not going to happen unless those players really embrace what they've put into this offseason and then show it out there on the field here at Arrowhead.
Well, I think Matt Rule was he was set up to succeed, Bock. If you look at the schedule, is basically year 3 schedule. And that's what everybody's going off of, the schedule. Now, we had Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa, just all the top 10 Big Ten teams. When we say that, no, we saying it because we look at the Cincinnatis and the Toledos and the Holy Cross, whatever that is right there.
Houston Christian, yeah.
Houston Christian. You look at that, and that gives you it doesn't say anything about you as a team, but when you look at the record, it makes it look better because now you go and play a 4-0 Michigan team a 3-0 Michigan team, and you're 3-0, and that's gonna. And we're setting ourselves up for that part of the schedule. But right now, we're worried about Cincinnati, and I think we have enough gas in our tank to beat Cincinnati. Yes, this is the start of Dylan Raiola 2.0, because we had the 1.0 last year. Every year he got to go up. Yeah. He's got to exceed his game. He got to make himself better, the team better, and try to do it in a reasonable way. Not trying to flash the Patrick Mahomes look, not trying to do all that. I think Dylan needs to be Dylan. I think that gets us over the hump, and the addition of the other guys that he has on his team, which is defensive line guys, linebackers, tight ends, new backs, new receivers. Everybody has to contribute in a different way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, there are all these, key pieces that you're kind of talking about. Nebraska's transfer portal class, top 10, all that. But it really does kind of fall back on Dylan when you kind of think of, okay, what's the key to the game? Who has to play well tonight? And Dylan Raiola is going to stand out more than anybody. Now, usually that's the case with the quarterback in any case, but this team has specifically, you think about the Dana Holgorsen, the wide receiver additions from the transfer portal. I mean, they've done a lot to kind of help him out and hopefully make those strides. And then he's worked. I don't underestimate or undervalue the effort that he's put in. A big part of tonight for me is, what does Dylan look like physically? He should be there. This was the whole goal in the offseason, was to be able to be a little bit more of a threat, to pick up those few extra yards on the ground if he needs to. Hopefully learn to slide. Hopefully learn to take those hits a little bit better than maybe he did as a freshman. And again, there are things every freshman's going to have to work on. And generally you're going to see they're going to get better throughout their career. So Dylan had those things to work on. And then we'll see, obviously in the passing game as well, because he needed some help from wide receivers. Last year, the wide receiver position, not a strength of the team. This year, they expect it to be. You look at a guy like Barney. They try to give him the ball. They try to get him in open space. It was tough. It was tough for him to spring loose. If Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter, throw the tight end position in there, Landon Meyer, Harburg, Carter, those guys, Carter Nelson, can kind of help spread things out, make Barney less of the focus on defense for a defensive coordinator. Maybe he can break out. Obviously we know about Emmett Johnson, the step up that he's taken as an all-around running back in the final few games under Dana Holgorsen. Will he be utilized that way going into this game? I think he will. So there's just a lot there. But the big question, of course, for Nebraska is who's starting on the offensive line. And is that going to be something that can be over, kind of really breaking down in this game or in the first couple of weeks? Because when you talk about that schedule, it does kind of allow, after this game with the Akron and Houston Christian game, your normal non-con, try to build it up, get ready for conference play type of situation. Shouldn't lose. If you do, we got a lot bigger problems, right? But it's kind of the same thing for that offensive line. Cincinnati doesn't have an overwhelming pass rush. So if it does all of a sudden tonight, then Nebraska might be in a little bit of trouble. If they hold them down, I don't know if that means you're going to be able to do the same against tougher defenses like, Michigan or Iowa or teams with, more athletes like USC or Penn State. But it'll be a good start. And we don't know who, speaking of start, I don't know who's going to start there, but we expect them to rotate. So some of those camp battles still going to go on through this first game as well, and the first couple games, to be honest.
All right, Bock, let's go to break. And when we come back, we're going to start on the offensive side. We're going to talk offensive guys, who we want to see, and what it's going to take for us to win the battle against Cincinnati defense here on 93.7 The Ticket, Bock in the Black Shirt. We'll be right back.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches, too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Schwieso Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwieso Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwieso.com. That's schwiesow.com.
Western Sand and Gravel is hiring for a variety of positions at their sand and gravel plants near Ashland. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Available positions include plant operators, dredge operators, and shop service technicians. They offer great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, paid holidays, and paid time off. No matter your experience level, on-the-job training is available to help you build a rewarding career with Western Sand and Gravel. Start your career today. Visit westernsand.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Old School with Foreman and Orman.
Any tips for a dad who just volunteered to be a YMCA flag football coach less than a week before the season started because no one else had volunteered to coach the fifth graders up to that point?
Tylenol for your headache.
Put some in your cup. Put some in your cup. and make sure your contract is 1 year only.
Medicate, bro.
Frank Reich. Frank Reich at Stanford.
Yep.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to Bock in the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to Bock in the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. Like I said earlier, YouTube and Fox reached a short-term deal for us YouTube watchers to watch it. Saturday morning at 9 a.m., Lee Corso, Bock, will do his final headgear pick. How you feel about that, Bock? That's been probably going on for what, 30 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time. It is. I mean, Lee Corso is synonymous with college football and his exciting headgear. I mean, it's the end of an era, is what it is, and obviously it's sad, and you want to rejoice at the same time, you know, and celebrate what he was and what he's meant to college football. But it has been incredible. It's just one of those things. It's so weird. And it became part of college football culture, right? Is to tune in right before the 11 o'clock games to see who Lee Corso's picking. It's not going to matter. It's not going to change the results on the field. It's just going to be a little bit of fun and entertainment, obviously there with the live crowd. And so to be able to do it one more time is incredible. I mean, I can't wait to see it. Obviously, you know, as people have maybe noted, I mean, he suffered a stroke. He may have lost a step over the last several years as he's into his 90s. All that to be expected. But it's a little bit of sad. I mean, it's a lot of people's like childhood, you know, kind of college football memories, or, you know, even like you said, even if it wasn't your childhood over the last 30 years. So it's Lee Corso is one of my favorites and always will be. And I think he was for a lot of people. Didn't make a whole lot of enemies. Wouldn't always pick your team. Didn't always pick the Huskers. But was always entertaining and kind of, you know, not so fast. All the little phrases that he threw in there as well. His team, you know, his work with Kirk Herbstreit over the years, and Chris Fowler, you know, before Reese Davis. Now, it's just been fantastic. So it's the end of an era is all I can really say. And thanks to Lee Corso, thanks to Coach Corso for all the years he put in. Obviously, not just as the Sunshine Schooner running down there playing some football for Florida State, but then coaching, and then obviously I think the what he'll truly be remembered for now here as we wrap up his broadcasting career.
All right, Bock, we're going to talk about the offense, but I want you to play something for me, Bock, that we need to hear as fans, and the players probably going to say this later on tonight. So before we get to the offense and Dylan Riola, let's hear this.
Dear Lord, the battles we go through life.
Dear Lord, the battles we go through life.
We ask for a chance is fair.
We ask for a chance is fair.
Chance to equal our stripes.
Chance to equal our stripes.
Chance to do it there.
Chance to do it there.
We should win.
We should win.
Let it be by the code.
Let it be by the code.
Faith and honor held high.
Faith and honor held high.
We should lose.
We should lose.
Stand by the road.
Stand by the road.
Cheers, the winners go by.
Cheers, the winners go by.
Day by day.
Day by day.
We get better and better.
We get better and better.
So we can't beat beat.
We can't beat beat.
Won't beat beat.
Won't beat beat.
All right, Bock, as we talk about this Nebraska offense we will see on the field today, it starts with Dylan Riola. I think the kid has probably had one of the best summers in his young career that he probably can be better next year. But, you know, to work with Dana Holgerson at the beginning of this football team does a lot for him, because he knows that Dana is not a no-nonsense type of guy. He's not going to let you take a playoff type of coach. We gave him weapons. We've upgraded our offensive line. It's good to see, or it's going to be great to see how better did Dylan get during the offseason, how much he bettered himself. That goes with sliding, running, making the right audibles, getting him in the right position, trying to throw a great underneath pass, a great long ball. No, you know, I'm not saying no sidearm throws, but, you know, that's part of his game. But, you know, all eyes are going to be on Dylan Riola at the beginning of this game to see how much better he could be with a lot of more better athletes. Not saying that we didn't have any last year, but you have to upgrade every year. Whatever's going to be the weak spot this year, we will upgrade next year to take care of that spot. So wide receivers, we upgraded, Bob. Offensive line, we upgraded. We didn't have to upgrade at quarterback because we already got a good quarterback. We didn't have to upgrade at running back because we have Emmett Johnson. So, it's going to start with Dylan play and offensive line play, but mostly all eyes going to be on Dylan Raiola from the start of the game.
Yeah, and it's not just Nebraska size. I mean, nationally, I think that's the intrigue for a lot of people that are going to be tuning in. Still heavily thought of as a guy that's going to project down the line as one of the top quarterbacks in the draft here in a couple of years. All that stuff I mentioned in the offseason, all that stuff will go away if he does not does not take that step that he's expected to this year. What he did last year was fine. He was a good, pretty average but good quarterback, right? Now you want to kind of take that next step to being the reason why Nebraska is winning games, not just kind of quarterbacking that team. Although, it doesn't have to be every game, doesn't have to be right out of the gate here. But if he can take that step, if he can truly be a threat on himself, Dana Holgerson, like you said, he's been around this game a long time, developed a lot of really good quarterbacks. So there's a lot of faith that he can do it. He's even said Dylan's making throws that he doesn't typically see. So you feel like he's taking that step. Now we have to see it because, again, part of the struggle last year, a lot of it, kind of blanket statement. You can say the wide receivers, didn't get open, and they were, struggling with the perimeter blocking and all the struggles that happened at the wide receiver position. Well, as the season kind of went on and got later, sometimes Dylan would hold the ball onto the ball a little too long in the pocket, get some sacks. Not ideal. Obviously, he missed a couple open wide receivers, and so just kind of down the stretch, it began to become more of maybe he had hit a freshman wall or whatever it might be. But then they were able to turn around team-wise, get 2 out of the last 3 games and win those games. And obviously, he had a lot of success against Wisconsin, as did Emmett Johnson and a lot of people on that offense. So, can it look more like the Wisconsin attack? Can they kind of utilize Emmett Johnson and these new receivers? Can the receivers do better? Can that offensive line hold up with the rotation at tackle? And, of course, the additions that they made in the offseason along those front with the big guys. All going to be critical. And then again, as I mentioned in the first segment, this could be a close game. Could come down to who picks up an important first down. We mentioned the Kansas State-Iowa State game. One team, Kansas State, took a risk, went for it on 4th down. Did not work out for them. Iowa State took a risk, went for it on 4th down. They made it. They won. That's why they won the game. That was the difference between the game. That could happen here. I know a lot of people are expecting a bigger margin for victory. Hopefully that's the case. But if, there's going to be some things where, kind of the small things that Dylan needs to pick up and work on, especially in the run game, picking up that extra first down or 2, make sure you don't take those big hits so early in the season. All that sort of stuff could factor in tonight, whether Nebraska gets the win or not. And that's where kind of the question is, if you kind of go into this game and think Dylan Raiola gives you above average quarterback play, do you win? And I think you say yes. If Dylan Raiola gives you average quarterback play, well, then it's kind of up in the air.
Well, I think his average is still going to be better than anything for the Cincinnati game. But you want her to be.
They got a pretty good quarterback on their side.
They do. They have that part. Now, Emmett Johnson, 117 carries last year, 591 yards, 98 yards, 5.1 average, 1 touchdown, Bock. 1. 39 yards receiving, 39 receptions, 286 yards receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Emmett comes back to a situation where he's number 1 now. He's RB1, no doubt. He don't have to look over his shoulder anymore and see my favorite from last year come pull him out the game and Dante Idell. Emmett's the man. It's his world back there, Bock. Running game starts with Emmett Johnson. A lot of people want to say offensive line. I think they do open up a little hole to get you through there, but we want to see the part of Emmett Johnson getting at least 20 carries, let's say 100 yards. I'm not trying to say what we need to average because, we don't know what situation Dana Holgerson is feeling or how he's feeling towards the running game during the game. It basically starts with the O-line, but Emmett has to get down there, and he has to be able to run through the guard and the tackle. He has to learn how to run up the middle. Is he that type of running back? He's a great running back. He has to hold on to the ball. I don't think he's a big turnover guy, but Emmett has to widen his. He has a chance today to widen his gap to be that only guy that's going to get most of the carries. And I think Emmett is aware of that. I think Emmett is a good running back. I think him getting 20, 25 carries a game will show us the real Emmett instead of the little glimpses we've seen in the last 2 years. He's in a great position. Got a great backup. That four-man rotation right there on the depth chart where you can go 1 through 4 are all capable, good running backs, especially Quinn Nyes. I don't know how much we're going to see him tonight, but the what is his name?
Makai Nelson, yeah.
Heard a lot about this kid, how fast he is, how elusive he is, how great he is. We'll get a chance to see him in backup roles tonight. Emmett is not an every down back to me. He has to come out some to get his rest, or if we have to go into a tight big man formation. So, I'm just waiting for Emmett to have that moment, to have that 150-yard rushing, 60 yards receiving. I think tonight he gets close to it. Not trying to say he won't, but it's gonna be a battle down there. When we talk about Cincinnati defensive line, which we're going to talk about on their side, it's a big guys up front, not a small linebacking crew. This is probably going to be an early test for Nebraska earlier to see if we can dominate a run game.
Yeah, it will be, and it's interesting. It is, like you said, it's finally the Emmett Johnson show. We saw a little bit of that with Dana Holgerson taking over late. But still, to your point, he's only got one game in his career, which a lot of people might be surprised, where he went over 100 yards in total. Several games there down the stretch where, between rushing and passing, he's right there, 96, 98 yards, that sort of thing. But that Wisconsin game was the only one where he's had, between rushing and receiving, more than 100 yards. And a lot of that's been opportunity. Of course, like you mentioned, he's the upscale since Dana Holgerson was able to take over the reins, he got more touches. And so you expect him to be in that category again, maybe like you said, maybe 20 carries. I would say maybe, 16, 17 carries, 5 or 6 touches out of the receiving category, as well, as he's shown himself to be a threat there. The big question is, and that's, because that's the expectation. What does it look like when we get out there? That's been the expectation all offseason, because he was utilized there. Did Nebraska, and I'll say it this way, it might not be a bad thing if he doesn't reach those touch numbers. Did Nebraska address what they needed to at the running back position? A lot of people pointed to it and say, might want to get some more depth there out of the transfer portal. They said, no, we've got what we need here. And Makai Nelson must have been a big part of that. Okay, so how many touches is he going to get? Mosey, of course, switched positions himself, has earned that number 3 spot for Isaiah Mosey as a true freshman. Big opportunity for him tonight. Those two guys I want to see more than just 3 or 4 carries. Now, that might be all they get, right? 3 or 4 touches. But ideally, obviously, if you're a Nebraska fan, maybe a little bit of a breakout performance from one of those guys, so that it comforts you in knowing that Emmett has some help, or if Emmett goes down, that you still have some playmakers there.
All right, Bock, receivers. Let's talk receivers. This receiving crew, I'm not saying that it's not weak, Bock. It's a good receiving crew. I think we have too many guys for less balls than we're gonna be able to throw at them. I think it starts with Dan Key. When you talk about Dan Key, you talk about a guy who transferred from Kentucky, who's got great hands, probably 5% better than Banks was last year. Can really go get the ball. Was awarded a single-digit number, so he was one of the hardest working guys out there. Then we go to the guy they don't talk about too much, Nazir Hunter. Was hurt in fall ball a little earlier with a hamstrings, 100% healthy. The transfer from Cal. I like to see all 3 of these guys. Ja'Cory Barney, my man. Would love to see him continue to leave off where he left off last year. Last year was a great year, great for him. I think he was the best offensive weapon we had probably back there last year. Most exciting guy. Will get a chance to return punts this year, but we'd love to see him touch the ball more earlier in the game before we, set the fireworks off.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see all those guys involved. Dane Key, kind of your guy to move the sticks. And Isaiah Hunter, maybe more of the deep threat than Ja'Cory Barney, just a guy you want to get out in space. So they've got some different types of receivers. I think that helps. Obviously, then you kind of point to Janarian Bonner, another guy that they believe in. Then the whole host of either redshirt freshmen or freshmen that are competing for snaps this evening. Again, debut opportunity for some of those guys, or at least the opportunity for those redshirt freshmen to show that they've taken that next step and they can be one of those guys. There's just a handful of them. Which one of those guys emerge will be interesting little kind of battle throughout the season. Then how much rotation there, I think, is also interesting because you obviously have, like we said, a pretty clear top four of guys that you can depend on. Are the other guys, if you're going to be heavier in the rotation, that means you're dependable. Who's shown that they can do that will be exciting to kind of follow throughout the season. But specifically tonight, I think you lean on the veterans, the guys that you know that have been there before.
All right, we got 6 hours and 13 minutes before kickoff. Nebraska versus Cincinnati. 8 o'clock tonight. Be there. Watch it. Cheer your team on. Nebraska will come out undefeated against this game, Bock. We'll talk about this more. 93.7 The Ticket.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
From the capital to castles, starting this December, fly nonstop from Lincoln to Orlando with service from Breeze Airways. That's right, nonstop flights to Orlando out of LNK are starting this December. You're now just a flight away from Disney World, Universal Studios, Legoland, and the Space Coast. Stretch out and relax on Breeze with complimentary family seating. Book your magical getaway now at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see partly sunny skies with light winds, a high around 80. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and calm winds, below around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds, matching high near 82. The meteorologist Kyle Clutch for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Make this your best football season yet with help from Limitless Mail. If you're struggling with low energy, muscle loss, brain fog, belly fat, mood swings, it's likely low testosterone, and Limitless Mail can fix that. We've helped over 100,000 men feel stronger, leaner, sharper, and more like themselves again. Don't sit on the sidelines this season. Take control. Book your free consult today at limitlessmail.com. That's limitlessmail.com.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years. And I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O, sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
Sometimes it's hard to know if substance use is becoming a problem, especially when it becomes part of daily life or social routines. Take the free assessment, Is Your Substance Use Harmful, at myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can understand your risk. You can take the assessment anonymously. In just minutes, you'll get practical, non-judgmental guidance and resources to support your health and well-being. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Five good days of college football starting off this Thursday, leading to Labor Day. Bock, it is Labor Day weekend. Bock, let me ask you a question. Do you know the old saying, what color you don't wear after Labor Day?
That's right. Is it white?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why they say that, but you know, I've been hearing that for the last 50 years of my 50-year life.
Maybe get dirty. I don't know. Fall. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Well, Nebraska will be wearing white tonight, so it's before Labor Day. We don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's women's white, men's white, or what kind of white, but let's look at the offensive line, Bock. When we talk about this offensive line, I think the guy we got to talk about right now who has the most pressure on him is probably Justin Evans. When you say that, Justin Evans, a 6'2", 315-pound junior, will take on probably one of the arguably best nicknames a guy can have on a football team.
That's right.
And that's when you talk about the Godfather, Don Callion.
That's right.
Callion is a 6'2", 335-pound tree stump. I single-handedly did the Colonel Stallion on him and went on his page and checked some of his highlights out, Bock. I sent them to you earlier. Did you watch them?
I've not watched him yet. I will.
Oh, you're not a true friend, Bock. I thought you was on my team. Now I know not to send you any.
Hey, no.
videos
Keep sending me that. I did. I think I was busy doing something.
When I watch this young man that Evans has to go, this is going to be a challenge for this offensive line. I don't think he can do it by himself. When we think about who he has help with, we don't know because they're transfer guys. So you really can't tell how this game is going to unfold until it's going to be a couple of series. Does Nebraska dominate on the first series? You'll be able to dictate that part of the game when it first starts. Gunnar Gatua, Turner Cochran, and Elijah Pritchett. One of those guys will walk out there with the first unit. I don't know which guy's going to be. Still cheering for Elijah Pritchett. He's from my hometown, former Alabama transfer. Who else? Henry Latowski, and I can't say that kid last. What's that? Jason what? Bock?
Masashek, I think.
Masashek, yeah. Will be at left guard. Right guard, Rocco Spiller. Backup, Grant Bricks. Right tackle, Teddy Pahaskas and Tyler Kanak will be at the right tackle. How much ready is Teddy Pahaskas probably going to be the story. You know, I know he was hurt last year. Quick comeback, big kid. He's got bigger during the offseason. We did see him down at the Matt Tarbert Kitchen. Big, nice, friendly guy. Like to see him make a full comeback. Now, when we talk about these tight ends, Bob, tight ends, Luke Lindemeyer, Heinrich Henrich, or Carter Nelson?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Lindemeyer's gonna get the start. Probably due to just kind of all-purpose tight end, right? He's going to be in there as an extension of that offensive line. Was it his position coach, Coach Satterfield? Marcus Satterfield said he's got some of the best pad level he's seen on a tight end. So he's earned that start. We'll see kind of what it looks like. Obviously, he played behind a couple tight ends last year. Was not, with Borkature off to Texas A&M, obviously Fedoni off to the NFL. Now is his opportunity. And I think many over the offseason would have predicted Heinrich Harburg may surpass him. Maybe Carter Nelson would surpass him. And maybe that still happens. There's plenty of season for that to take place. But credit Luke Lindemeyer for stepping up, maybe not being the most, people would say maybe not having the highest ceiling at all of them, but he does have a high ceiling, and he's good on his own right. So it's going to be interesting to see how much he can kind of develop and fend off those other guys who are more obviously kind of receiving threats at this point in their career. We'll see, and that's kind of where it gets interesting too with Harburg. Harburg, I think, blocked well in the Boston College game. Can he take that step up? And it needs to be a big step. Obviously, he's got hopes of playing in the NFL. A lot of this move, is to not just to help the current Huskers, but to prolong his football career. And he's going to have to prove himself to be an every down tight end. And then, of course, you get to Carter Nelson. He had the hip surgery this offseason. As a true freshman, they liked his athleticism. They mixed him in there. Did they get enough out of him to burn his red shirt? You could argue that, but he was a talented enough guy. We all know when he kind of came in, had every basically school in the nation going to watch some 8-man football just to see him play. You want to see those guys, especially after your true freshman year. We talk about Dylan all the time. Your biggest strides usually made from freshman to sophomore year. Carter Nelson in that particular situation.
Oh, we're going to see tonight, man. I hope Luke Lindemeyer has some great catches. All three of them. Want to see all three of them succeed. Would like to see Mac Martway, but he got injured for the rest of the year during summer. All right, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to flip it over to the defensive side to talk some black shirts. Did we get a number 11 black shirt, Bock? Is it 11 guys yet?
Yes.
All right, we're going to talk about that when we come back. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock in the black shirt.
Make this your best football season yet with help from Limitless Mail. If you're struggling with low energy, muscle loss, brain fog, belly fat, mood swings, it's likely low testosterone, and Limitless Mail can fix that. We've helped over 100,000 men feel stronger, leaner, sharper, and more like themselves again. Don't sit on the sidelines this season. Take control. Book your free consult today at limitlessmail.com. That's limitlessmail.com.
From the capital to castles, starting this December, fly nonstop from Lincoln to Orlando with service from Breeze Airways. That's right, nonstop flights to Orlando out of LNK are starting this December. You're now just a flight away from Disney World, Universal Studios, Legoland, and the Space Coast. Stretch out and relax on Breeze with complimentary family seating. Book your magical getaway now at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Sometimes it's hard to know if substance use is becoming a problem, especially when it becomes part of daily life or social routines. Take the free assessment, Is Your Substance Use Harmful?, at myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can understand your risk. You can take the assessment anonymously. In just minutes, you'll get practical, non-judgmental guidance and resources to support your health and well-being. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Boxing is back this Saturday with no nonsense at the Complex. The Midwest's best professional boxers will display their best performances with hometown favorites Clyde Godzilla Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks among the boxers. Get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream the event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. this Saturday, August 30th at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue. Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley, defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7. The Ticket. We are powered
by
Bauer.
Infrastructure.
Bauer.
Underground.
Barrett.
Excavating.
All right, back to the Cincinnati versus Nebraska game tonight. Will Travis Kelce and his wife be at the game?
Hey, no, they're not married yet. It's not his wife. It's
Fiance.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, I think they might be. Hopefully, we can kind of ruin their week that they got engaged here.
Somebody on Twitter said this about those two. It is a business marriage. Anyone with a brain can see that. Can see this. Tired of these two clowns becoming the face of sports.
It was great. I mean, I was surprised. I know there would be a pretty big reaction in entertainment. I was surprised to see it was the lead story on ESPN.com when they announced their engagement. So it is what it is. Taylor Swift draws eyeballs to Chiefs games. She draws eyeballs to the NFL. And maybe tonight she can draw some additional eyeballs to the Nebraska game. But just keep in mind, she's against us tonight. So all you Swifties out there, put it on pause for this evening.
All right, Bock. Seen one of the funniest stories, probably reactions to a story that you're probably going to see. Coach Deion Sanders was asked about what tradition of the Colorado student section surprises him the most. His answer will have you rolling on the ground. He said the smell of weed.
That's a tradition there for Colorado. Yeah.
He said that, he looks around at the beginning of the second quarter and it smells bad in there. So, I think that was.
They're sneaking in something.
Yeah.
I mean, Husker fans are used to sneaking in some booze once in a while. They don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Those Colorado fans might have to wait till, I don't know if that's going to be sold in the stadium for a while.
All right, Bock, when we talk about upsets this week, we got quite a few games on hand. I'm going to talk about these 4 games right here before we get back to Husker football. And you tell me which one you think is most likely to be an upset. Syracuse versus Tennessee. Alabama versus Florida State. Virginia Tech versus South Carolina. And Boise State versus South Florida.
Oh boy, that's a good list there. I don't think Florida State ultimately gets it done. They've had a lot of trash talk. That Alabama game is going to be interesting, but I think the Crimson Tide. I'm a big believer in that hire that they made, even though it didn't go as well as they wanted to in year one for the new head coach Kalen DeBoer. I think they start another special gear there in Tuscaloosa. So I think that they get that done. Although it is in, by the way, Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee that game. Boise State, I mean, that might be the closest one. They're the biggest pick this offseason for the group of 5. Remember, the 5 highest ranked conference champions will get in. So basically meaning a group of 5 champion will get in. Interested to see. They had some close games. Of course, last year they had maybe the best player in the nation. Travis Hunter certainly has an argument as the Heisman Trophy winner, but Ashton Jeanty nearly broke Barry Sanders' record. Without that, I think that would probably be the pick that I would make among those games, just because I kind of like where some of those other teams are sitting. I think Lenora Sellers, I feel like South Carolina's in a good position. Virginia Tech's still questionable. They've got to make that decision to hybrid key a few years ago pay off, and we'll kind of wait and see if that's the case. But I wouldn't bet on it quite yet.
All right, Bock, for me, I think it's Syracuse. I think Syracuse is positioned to be a front runner in the ACC. Had a down, not a down year last year. I think they was 8-4. had Kyle McCord at quarterback, former Florida State quarterback. But I think they get better this year. I know Chief Borders was there. He left there. He's at UNLV now. But I think these guys are going to be better. But I think they upset this what team they playing against?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That'd be a
That's
big
going to
one,
be a good game. But I think they upset Tennessee, and I think that's the one that I got out of that situation right there.
I don't mind that pick. They just have to replace Kyle McCord, who you mentioned was such a good quarterback last year for them. Maybe I thought over a cup of coffee once about coming to Nebraska, but then the Dylan Raiola movement started to happen. So, I mean, he had a great year with Syracuse last year. They've got one of the best up-and-coming coaches across the nation leading them there. So I don't hate that pick. Tennessee certainly has their question marks as well. You know, Nico Iamaleava no longer there. Lost one of the better running backs in the nation. But, you know, I still like Tennessee, the SEC football defense and run game mentality. And I just think I trust Josh Heupel at this point to pick up that win. But it's not a bad pick.
Look at that hat he wearing on. Somebody said this.
Yeah, they're making fun of Travis Kelce because he's wearing a pretty silly hat there that perhaps Taylor Swift made him wear. We don't know. He said no man would ever voluntarily wear this hat. So thanks to Drumstick for sending that in.
All right, Bock, let's talk about the defense. Now, when we talk about the defense of Nebraska, this defense has a lot to prove this year. I think when we say that because of the two big guys you lose, some of the outside transfer guys that we lost, some of the linebackers that transferred out, some that finished their schooling. DBs are probably one of the, I wouldn't say it's the strength right now, but it was supposed to have been the strength last year. We have to see how they do against, I'm not saying this is a great passing Cincinnati team, but I know they do pass a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they like to get the ground game going too. So I personally think if Nebraska kind of makes Cincinnati turn into that passing team to beat them through the air, if they can stop the run, that's the key to my game plan on defense. If I were Nebraska, of course, that's the key for a lot of game plans going in. But Cincinnati's especially, Scott Satterfield, he likes to establish the run. They've had 1,000-yard rushers. I think Adam Carrick was saying they're at Cincinnati for 14 straight years. Of course, no, just the last two under Scott Satterfield. So that's going to be an important piece of the puzzle for them. Of course, the quarterback adds an element in the running game. But this is an offense that struggled quite a bit, especially toward the end of last year. Final 7 games, of which they lost the final 5 games, only 19.3 points per game. To kind of put that in context, that was kind of close to the Nebraska offensive output under Jeff Sims and in the group of rotating quarterbacks there 2 years ago. So that's kind of where they were at, where the season left off. They've got some pieces. Like I said, the quarterback, has some decent numbers. Their tight end at times can factor into the game plan. He was an all Big 12 pick there last year, but a couple games he was kind of, taken out of the game. So Nebraska, I think if they can do that, Cincinnati's got questions as far as their wide receivers. Cyrus Allen comes in. He's actually been to Memorial Stadium with Louisiana Tech, and he had a 100-yard game and a touchdown. So at least he's, maybe feels a little bit more comfortable going up against this Nebraska secondary. Transferred to Texas A&M for a year. That didn't really do much for him. So now back to Cincinnati. But they lost their top six pass rushers. So they're kind of trying to figure out who that guy is, who's going to be the lead receiver this year. In Nebraska with Sierra Wright in that secondary, a talented veteran secondary. If they can shut that down, I think Cincinnati's going to have a whole host of problems getting into the end zone. And that's what makes this interesting, right? The defense is somewhere in between belief, and just wanted to see it happen out there. It's been the strength of the team so far under Matt Rule, but you lose the defensive coordinator. You lose those big guys up front, like you said. Maybe John Bullock making the NFL roster. Maybe that's a bigger piece lost than maybe we necessarily thought coming in to this game or even into this week. But that's my big question there, because as I try to predict what's Cincinnati going to what's their output going to be? What are they going to score tonight? A lot of that, of course, depends on how suffocating Nebraska's defense can be. Deshaun Singleton wants to create miracles and have people in wheelchairs stand up for the amount of, how well they're going to play. A lot of good talk this offseason. I want to see it happen. And so that's the question. I mean, I've got Cincinnati somewhere around the 20 points, somewhere around 20 points tonight. And I feel pretty good about Nebraska's offense surpassing that. Once you get to kind of 27, 28 points, could happen, could see that. If Nebraska's defense isn't ready to go, then you're kind of more in a 50-50 game situation if Nebraska can reach that point total, in my mind, against Cincinnati's defense.
All right, Bock, your front four. William Nwili, Cam Linhart, they're going to be at one end, and both of them has "or" on their name. I think Nwili, who had a quiet fall, all of a sudden he comes out and he's almost a starter.
Apparently progressing even better than what they thought he was going to be. So,
Kid got good size on him, 6'7", 265. Could be a monster for us. I hope we get that monster side of him that Missouri didn't get out of him. I think it'll be a good job for us if it comes early in the season. This guy's a redshirt freshman who has multiple years left at the University. Cam Linhart, a guy who I think that had a sophomore slump, really didn't play great his second year. Had a exciting freshman year. To think that you will come back in year two and try to, put more your name out there, but that didn't happen. So those two will be at the DN spot. Elijah Judy and Van Poppel. Elijah Judy's going to get the start. Van Poppel, who is probably still the leading candidate for me to take over that spot. Not saying that Elijah Judy is not good, but I think Van Poppel is better.
Yeah, as we look at who got the black shirts, that can kind of give you kind of a hint about what's going on there. And we kind of teased it going into break. If you didn't see it, Keona Davis got his black shirt, so he kind of won that battle with Jalen George. When the depth chart came out, there was no "or," but apparently there's still a battle going on there. And it looks like Keona Davis is going to be the guy, part of the get off the bus team, as he looks the part. So hopefully he can kind of fulfill that promise that he's shown. He was a big get for Nebraska. Remember, he almost entered the transfer portal. Can't remember exactly the timeline of event. Maybe did officially enter the transfer portal. Nebraska had to go in there and get him. Big get for Nebraska this offseason, and he's showing what he can do there. On the other side, I do think Cam Linhart does get the start over Williams Nwaneri, only because he did get a black shirt too, and Nwaneri did not. But it's one of those things where we'll see. I mean, that's your veteran now in Linhart, who's played 2 years. As you said, maybe not the return you wanted in his sophomore year, but as a junior, you're an upperclassman. In Nwaneri, who's going out there as a redshirt freshman. I mean, talk about somebody that would be a welcome addition to Nebraska's attack with some of the most upside on the team. If he can start to fulfill some of that, Nebraska's defensive line has a much higher ceiling. Kind of like he's the Elijah Pritchett of the offensive line, right, on the defensive line, where their ceiling rises if he can meet his potential. And again, they've talked about it. I mean, he's probably already exceeded that or got to the point that, that they didn't necessarily have him on track for being a co-starter. Not many did going into the year.
All right, Bock, linebackers. Jack linebackers, Deshaun McCullum, Jordan Achai, and Willis McGahee. Inside linebacker, Marquise Watson-Trent. Vincent Shavers is questionable. At your other linebacker, Javen Wright and Jacob Bowers and Dawson Merritt. I think if Shavers is a game-time scratch, I think Jacob Bauer will probably be more of a candidate to move over there and help Marquise Watson-Trent out so he doesn't get, playing in that middle and being such a small guy. It's sometimes, it's a lot of that makes you tired trying to fight him off. Myself, I used to get tired, but I fought through it. But Javen Wright, Matt Rule calls him the switchblade.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades. Guy who can play multiple positions out there. 7-year guy. Great kid. I think he really needs to come out of his shell this year and show that he can take it to the next level. I think Javen is probably the most athletic guy out there, being how tall he is and how he can move and get to the ball quicker than most people. I think he has to show a lot today. I think this is probably his most important game right here, the rebound game, to come out. He hasn't been healthy for the beginning of the season and so long that he's finally healthy, but now he has to go out and show it.
That's right. The most Husker of all Huskers, right? Jason Wright coming back.
Granddaddy Husker.
That's right. And he's got an important role tonight. Again, if Matt Rhule's offseason comments would lead you to believe, he thinks he, is the guy that's going to be specifically adept at covering the tight end. Well, Cincinnati, as we mentioned, does have a pretty good tight end, an all Big 12 tight end, in fact, in Joe Royer. I mentioned it too. Joe Royer, although you underline him and you obviously try to take him out of the game plan, he's one of the guys that pops to you when you look at Cincinnati's roster. There was a few games last year he just didn't factor in too much. Okay, so Javen Wright, that's his goal tonight, to go out there and kind of take him out of the ball game. With Cincinnati without their tight end, again, is going to be looking for new guys, unfamiliar faces, for their quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, to throw to. And if you could take him out of the game, that would be huge. The other linebacker positions, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, real exciting. We got to finally see if this offseason talks kind of comes to fruition. The whole offseason has kind of been, okay, Nebraska has less maybe big men up front, right? Less meat up front to kind of stop the rushing attacks, but to combat that, they should be kind of pretty good coming off the edge. And that's what you're going to see in these jack linebackers, along with some of those guys up there front on the defensive line. It's been reported they have multiple guys. Deshaun McCullough, supposed to be a do-it-all guy himself. Can he, kind of replicate the sack numbers that he got at Indiana before transferring to Oklahoma and improve upon that, obviously, now in his senior year? Marquise Watson-Trent is the tackling machine. Does it convert over to the Big Ten level of play here playing against a Big 12 team? I think it does. I still think he leads the team in tackles by season's end, but we'll see. Vincent Shavers is going to push him at that position, as you mentioned, kind of into this game a little bit hobbled. Certainly would be excited to see Vincent Shavers, if he does get out there, he'll be one to look out for, earn a single-digit number himself. So they've got linebackers to fill this rotation. And you feel pretty good about it. Again, though, you kind of wonder now, knowing that John Bullock is an NFL player, it's kind of bigger shoes to fill. So somebody has to kind of step up in those roles and take it on and show tonight that they can get it done. And again, my key to this game, stopping Cincinnati's run. If you force them to pass, they're not an air raid themselves. They're gonna kind of struggle in that department. So linebackers, obviously, filling those holes, always going to be a key to stopping the run.
All right, Bock, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to get with the DBs, and then we're going to talk about some keys to the victory tonight for both offense, defense, and don't forget, special teams. We'll talk special teams when we come back with the DBs here on Bock and the Black Shirt at 93.7 The Ticket.
With all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O, sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Tune in every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Big news, Nebraska! Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here at 93.7 The Ticket. When was the last time that Nebraska played in Kansas City, Bock?
Oh, is that the Oklahoma State game?
I don't know. I'm asking you, Bock. You're the Nebraskaologist.
Well, I think the regular season would be the Oklahoma State game. But what was that? 90? Was that 95? You guys did that?
No. We
Trying
didn't play Kansas City.
Okay, no. I'm thinking
played in Oklahoma
98,
State.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to double check. Anyway, but the last time they played in Arrowhead in general was in 06. when they played in the Big 12 championship game.
All right.
Coldest game Adam Carricker's ever played in, he said. So
Yeah.
hopefully it won't be so bad.
All right. Rovers, cornerback, safety, nickel, and other cornerback, Deshaun Singleton, Rex Garthu, and Derek Branch will be at your Rover. Andrew Marshall, Donovan Jones will be at one corner. Marquise Buford Jr., Caleb Vennon will be at the safety. Malcolm Harzard Jr., Jamari Khan at the nickel. Sarah Wright, Jeremiah Charles, and Amara Sanders will be your other corners. Bock, this is a group right here that played a lot, especially with Hazard and Marquise Buford and Deshaun Singleton. Deshaun Singleton coming back after extra year of eligibility from JUCO time. Andrew Marshall, the transfer from Idaho. And Sarah Wright, the guy we got last year from USC, will man down the receiving crew tonight for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. Obviously, many of us should. A lot of single-digit number guys, a lot of captains, a lot of guys that have played a long time for Nebraska. And it's kind of interesting. We've kind of been talking on this station who's kind of the face of the defense. And Sierra Wright may have overtaken that. I mean, you go into last year, I remember kind of debating, and it was kind of a gradually, over time, we were just kind of gradually getting to the point of saying, is he the best corner on the team? Of course, Tommy Hill's struggles kind of played into that too, but Tommy Hill was expected to be by a far margin one of the best players in the country at defensive back, and maybe that was partially because that didn't live up to what happened because of injuries and such. But Sierra Wright did rise up, and by the time the USC game came around, maybe I mean he made a big play. So I mean I'd look at him. You look at the same type of thing here with Cincinnati. I was kind of talking about with shutting down the running game to force them to pass. Is they don't have, I think, their top 6 pass catchers at wide receiver from last year. Went to the portal heavy to try to find some of those guys. Again, Cyrus Allen, a name that had played Nebraska before at Louisiana Tech, transferred to Texas A&M last year. Now at Cincinnati, expect to be one of their better players. But if they can identify who is going to be a problem, you kind of wonder, is Sierra Wright going to be a guy, you travel him around the field. Obviously at the nickel position, you feel like, usually have a smaller cornerback in there, and Malcolm Hartzog's going to man that. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of the matchups they do. But I think it's more interesting. Obviously, Sierra Wright in the step that he takes up is going to be exciting as maybe the face of that defense. But the interesting part of that is, of course, you brought up all the veterans, all the single-digit guys, all that other stuff. Then there's Andrew Marshall. Andrew Marshall's the new guy in town, has earned that starting spot, so there's no complaints there. But coming over from Idaho, you expect a little bit of a tougher time, maybe to get acquainted to what's going on here. Hopefully not. Hopefully he can kind of step in, be one among Nebraska's, fit right in. Because those other guys, I mean, it's been talked about all off season. I mean, they know each other's every move back there. So they feel the continuity in the secondary is going to be of utmost importance. But it's also interesting to note Deshaun Singleton, is he going to be better in that rover position, which was manned by Isaac Gifford last year, than he has been so far in the safety position? And is it going to be played somewhat the same? He's a guy that can come up and pop you, but I think there's going to be more asked about him kind of being a guy out there hunting the ball carrier than maybe has been in the past as more of a safety. So it's a big assignment for him, not just tonight, but throughout the season.
Well, I think the biggest two things for me are the two cornerbacks, how good they play. You talk about a guy, Sierra Wright, who did have the interception against USC, but went quiet the rest of the way last year. Didn't hear much about him. Did have a couple of blown coverages against other teams. Now you talk about a guy named Andrew Marshall, who they say is a shutdown corner, 2 years at Idaho without an interception though, Bock. So we're going to find out how good these guys are against this RPO offense that they have. Malcolm Hazard playing a true nickel now. Like you said, Marquise Buford moving over to the safety. Deshaun Singleton at the new rover spot. I think he will be in a lot of fire today. I think he'll be thrown into the mix. I think he's going to be one of the leaders of this defense, might be the game star for this Husker offense, Husker defense that was pretty mediocre at passing game last year. So I hope to see these guys play better, especially Deshaun Singleton.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of faith that they will. And of course, last year, a lot of it was, okay, John Butler had to come in the summer. There was kind of a short turnaround. obviously had enough faith, not just from the coaching staff, but from the players. You remember when Matt Rule said, that defensive coordinator spot was open, and it was open for a while. They were kind of looking around, look at their options. Said it didn't have, it has never had so many players come up to him and say, "Hey, it needs to be this guy. We want to follow this guy in John Butler." So, although the secondary maybe have taken a little bit of a step back, wasn't a giant one, right? Maybe that Tommy Hill injury, factored in once again to that, because the year before he kind of put himself in a position to be, as hyped as he was going into last year. And then, of course, last year the injuries hit. So, that could have been part of it. I think, too, though, part of it, too, was just kind of moving some guys around a little bit too much. Hartzog, from safety to corner, back now he's back at nickel. I think that's the best spot for him. Buford was kind of the same way, testing him out at corner. Not a bad corner, but I think he's a better safety. And now he's playing back there at safety again. So I think they've kind of ironed out their positions. They've kind of got everybody where they need to be. And hopefully, to your point earlier, Andrew Marshall coming over from the FCS level of Idaho is due for an interception. Maybe he can be the one to get it going here early. And it'd be nice to see. Remember last year, a big part of Nebraska's defense last year was pick sixes, was directly getting points for the offense last year. And hopefully the offense doesn't need it as much this year, but I'd like to see the defense continue to do that.
It's going to be a big game tonight, Bock. I think all the talking we did is now we have to put it all on the line. We have to show as much progression as we did talking this offseason. And it's going to start with Matt Rule and the coaching. How these guys prepared today. Coach Eckler, new to the coaching staff. Coach Butler moves over to defensive coordinator, new defensive back coach, new defensive line coach. It's going to be an exciting game. Do we blitz a lot? Are we able to stop the run? Are we better at the run or pass this year, or are we better at the run? We got to be better at one of them, because for the last 2 years, Nebraska had a great rushing defense, but you lose two big guys. You have three brand new starters up there, Bock. So a lot's going to be riding on the black shirts tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you look at the other side and kind of where Cincinnati finished, about where Nebraska would like to hold them under, to keep them under even their offense last year, which wasn't awful. 36th overall in total offense last year for Cincinnati. The problem is they weren't converting to points. They had some special teams problems themselves. 25.2 points per game was 89th in the nation. So that's a big gap there for Cincinnati. And it will be interesting to kind of follow throughout the night, because they went, as we were talking about special teams, they went and got a kicker, actually from the same school that Nebraska went and got a kicker in Charlotte. Steven Rusnak actually got more opportunities, was 11 of 11 and 3 for 3 beyond 50 yards last year for the Charlotte 49ers. They added him. They think that he can kind of convert on more of that and kind of help that points per game thing go up. So that's kind of one thing to look at. But the other part is, rushing wise, they average 184 yards per game. Again, that was 36th in the nation. Very respectable. Passing game, 236.5 yards per game. Obviously, that's more than the rushing yards, but compared to the rest of the nation, that was closer to 59th in the nation. So they're going to want to try to establish that run. And I think that's going to be the biggest maybe key tonight, is kind of combining the question marks that the teams have, is that I think Cincinnati feels pretty good about their offensive line. They did well in the portal. They did lose 3 starters, but they did well in the portal to kind of get those guys going. They lost a 1,000-yard running back, but again, did well in the portal, bringing Tyree Walker over from Wisconsin. They feel like they can get the ground game going. Nebraska, as we know, has been stout stopping the run each of the last couple of years, and that's been a big reason why their defense has been what it has been. Now, without Ty and Nash and John Bullock up the middle, are they going to be able to do the same thing? Cincinnati, if they can run for 200 yards, tonight, that could spell a lot of problems for Nebraska. If Nebraska can stop the run, make them pass, maybe to your point, dial up some blitzes here and pressure that new offensive line to kind of work together a little bit more. I think that's a recipe for success for Nebraska.
All right, Bock, over or under, Cincinnati gets more than 75 yards rushing?
I would say probably over. I mean, again, they're gonna try to keep hacking away at that. If Nebraska can get an early lead, maybe you make them go under that. But 75 yards in any game would be a stout rush defense. So I probably go over. Again, they averaged close to 184 last year, and that's gonna be what they're trying to get to. And in Nebraska, there's a bit of a question mark going in. So 75 is a big goal. I would probably say if they can hold them to, 130, 125, I think that'd be a successful day for Nebraska.
All right, Bock, passing wise, over or under 225 yards passing, Bock.
I hope not. I hope not. Right? I think I think that's kind of a pretty good number to kind of set it out. Again, they averaged 236 last year. Nebraska's defense, secondary should be better off there. And again, a lot of questions with that wide receiver unit for Cincinnati. If they can hold them under 200, kind of in that 225 range, around 200, I would feel pretty comfortable about Nebraska coming out with a victory in that realm too.
All right, Bock, when we come back from break, we're going to give out the final score prediction. Ooh, the final score prediction when we come back. Bock in the Black Shirt, 93.7 The Ticket.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
Tune in every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boxing is back this Saturday with no nonsense at the Complex. The Midwest's best professional boxers will display their best performances with hometown favorites Clyde Godzilla Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks among the boxers. Get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com where you can live stream the event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. this Saturday, August 30th at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Rollouts has been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Rollouts will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Rollouts make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Rolloffs, cleanup made simple.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at StarterHeyman.com.
Starter Heyman
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hey guys, it's Nick. Join Jay Foreman and I this Friday at 7 p.m. as we kick off the high school football season with a Capital City clash between Lincoln Southwest and Lincoln North Star. Lincoln North Star beat the Silverhawks by 1 point in 2024, meaning Lincoln Southwest seeks revenge in Week 1 this Friday. It's Lincoln Southwest versus Lincoln North Star this Friday night with kickoff slated for 7 p.m., and you can hear all the action right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt. We are 5 hours and 13 minutes away from kickoff. Everything we've been waiting for all summer long, since the bowl game last year. It's Nebraska versus Cincinnati. And Bock, Nebraska has to come out fast tonight. I don't think we can start off slow and play at the same tempo as Cincinnati. I think we need to jump on these guys from the get-go on offense. I think we need to make some serious good hits on the quarterback on defense. I think special teams need some good runs and good kicks for us to win this game. Matt Rules needs to coach not a perfect game, but this is a tune-up game for the rest of the season. This is going to set the tone tonight to see what kind of team we are. Are we a physical team? Are we a fast tempo team? Are we a team that's just going to go out there and play smash mouth football? We will see tonight, Bock, what this team is capable of, what this black shirt defense can do after losing two of the biggest defensive linemen in the last couple of years we had at university. Will this defense be quick, fast, get a lot of turnovers, make sacks, get interceptions, get off the field on third down? Kicking wise, will we be able to the return kicks? Will we be able to kick the field goals? Will we be able to stop the field goal block team, Bock? It's a lot of things we're going to check out tonight. And guess what? We're going to be right back here tomorrow, Bock, to talk to you about the game tonight, Bock. And all right, Bock, predictions for the game. What do you think going on?
Yeah, I like you. I mean, I've been a little bit nervous going into this game. You say we've waited a long time through the offseason. For hopefully we've waited years and years and years for this special season to start, right? The special season that's going to take off here for Nebraska football. We will see. I mean, I think that the keys to the game, I mean, I always like the keys to the game segment because it's a lot of it's the same from game to game, but especially for Nebraska, but especially in week 1. Kind of keep it simple. We saw Coach Holerson come in, shorten the playbook, try to get good at what you can do. Don't focus so much on doing 1,000 different things. If we can kind of, do 200 different things to do it well, That's what they're going to focus on. But again, kind of back to both teams struggled special teams wise the last couple of years. They both went out and got new special teams coordinators, new kickers, all that. So I think special teams will go a long way. I've been saying it all day. I think stopping the run, that's what Cincinnati wants to do. If you stop the run, including that quarterback run threat and Brennan Sorsby, Nebraska is going to be in a good position. I think this is a good game. There's a lot of games on paper Nebraska should have won over the years that they kind of let slip. This is another game on paper Nebraska should win rather comfortably. I'm going to believe in it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm going into it. So I think they'll end up winning 31-20. Again, the keys to being just kind of keeping it simple, doing the small things right. Don't get too many penalties. Win the turnover battle. Those are always kind of the same keys that Nebraska has struggled with. If they can do that, they can do that routinely this year. They're going to win 9 games like they would have last year if they would have done that routinely. And then, like I said, win the special teams battle. Both teams, both fan bases are going to be holding their breath to make sure that the changes they made in the offseason work well there and stop Cincinnati's run game and force them to pass. I think Nebraska will have the advantage if they can do that. So those are my keys to the game. And my prediction, again, 31-20. Nebraska wins and covers.
All right, Bock, for the black shirt, I think it starts on defense. We have to blitz, and we have to blitz. Bock, you have to learn how to stop this quarterback who's an amazing RPO runner, got a decent arm, has a 6'5" receiver that he will be going deep to with a lot of height advantage over our guys. Offensive-wise, I think we start to establish a running game quick, get Emmett involved in the game as much as possible. Go to Ja'Cory Barnett. Go to Dan Key. Try Isaiah Hunter. Let's get this thing rolling, Bock. Let's play special teams. Let's kick the balls we should kick, and let's get down the field and kick coverage and pin these guys deep into their territory. Bock, if I had to say anything, 27-17 Nebraska, Bock.
There we go. Rather comfortable win there, too. And, of course, it's funny because we said all the breakdown without mentioning Dylan Raiola. And Dylan Raiola, of course, a big key to this game as well. The progression that he can make. We opened up the show with it. If he can provide that. Again, be the reason Nebraska wins games, not just kind of be out there quarterbacking the team to the win, which is fine. And it should be expected through your freshman year. But to take that step up, I mean, I would love it. I think we would all love it if SportsCenter highlights are filled with Dylan Raiola in Nebraska, passing the ball all the way around there in Arrowhead Stadium. Might get more comparisons to Patrick Mahomes, but I think that would be okay this week there playing in out there. So, a lot of it is, a quarterback can be an equalizer. We break down all this other stuff that needs to happen, and Nebraska needs to go out there and get done. Brennan Sorsby is a solid quarterback, and that's, I think, what leads most Cincinnati fans into believing they can get the win here today. So, though they're not out there on the same field at the same time, the same field, but at different times, right? Hopefully Dylan Raiola can outperform or at least kind of match what Brennan Sorsby provides for the Bearcats.
All right, Nebraska's on Thursday night, stays tonight. Bock, we're going to play it one more time before we get out of here. Let's hear this Husker prayer before we get out of here, and we will see y'all tomorrow where we will talk about the game from last night, Nebraska versus Cincinnati, 8 o'clock tonight.
Dear Lord, the battle we go through life. Dear Lord, the battle we go through life. We ask for a chance is fair. We ask for a chance is fair. Chance to equal our stripes. Chance to equal our stripes. Chance to do it there. Chance to do it there. We should win. We should win. Let it be by the code. Let it be by the code. Faith and honor held high. Faith and honor held high. We should lose. We should lose. Stand by the road. Stand by the road. Cheers, the winners go by. Cheers, the winners go by. Day by day. Day by day. We get better and better. We get better and better. So we can't beat. So we can't beat. Won't beat. Won't beat.
All right. Thank you for listening to Bock and the Black Shirt. We will check back with y'all tomorrow at 1 to 3. Bock and the Black Shirt live, 93.7 The Ticket. We out.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see partly sunny skies with light winds, a high around 80. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and calm winds, a low around 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds, an afternoon high near 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flex for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire